Morning all my YouTubers, all my blue collar workers, all my union workers. Hope everybody having a good day out there. No, I ain't been making a lot of videos lately. I've just been kind of grinding a little bit. Um, Not really a lot to say. There's been some things I have objections with, but it's not really. I ain't trying to air out no dirty laundry on here, so whatever. Anyway, so I'm back at Mystic Lake Casino. That's kind of one of the reasons I wanted to make a little video talk about some things. So basically, this job I was on for a little bit over 2 years. We installed an entire new heated and chilled water system in the casino. Huge project. Learned a lot, did a lot out here. Job completed. We finished all our piping. We was on to the next thing. Well, now, for those of you that don't know, obviously I live in Minnesota. It got cold up here. It got below zero. And I guess they had some issues with some of the coils on the rooftop units freezing. And so basically, they're not running glycol in the system. For you guys that don't know, sometimes you can use glycol in the system and it helps prevent freezing. But it also makes it so you can't transfer heat or you can't transfer heat as effectively if you got glycol in there. So water, you can transfer heat more effectively. And so they're running an all 100% water system here. There's no glycol in the system. So running the chilled water, I guess they were running the chilled water at like 40 degrees coming out of the central plant, which I guess is within limits. That's fine. However, when you're running on probably at least a mile of pipe, at the end of that loop, you're gonna be colder than 40 degrees when it's below zero outside. So basically, due to user error, they didn't understand how to operate this new system they have. They froze a bunch of coils. Then it dumped a bunch of water down through the ceiling, down onto the casino floor, onto people that was gambling. And I think another pump or another coil froze and dumped water down into one of the restaurants. Big deal anyway. So they called us back out here. We're the ones that installed it to come try to fix it. So they had their maintenance people, non-union maintenance people, go out and drain all the chilled water coils. And they couldn't find the drain valves on some units, or some units they just thought that it'd be easier to just drill holes in the pipe to drain the water out. So now we got a bunch of random holes, and yeah, it's crazy. It's not. We thought we were gonna come out here for like maybe a couple days and run some air tests and make sure that the coils that weren't frozen were okay to turn back on. And yesterday was our first day back here. We was kind of just looking around. I think we got water on one of the units, but just looking at some of the damage that they did because they didn't know what they were doing, it's gonna end up being a lot of work. It's gonna end up costing them a lot of money. I don't necessarily know that it falls on the maintenance people so much. I mean, obviously they don't know that much. Like, they know some things, but they don't know, apparently, as far as building a system, what to do, what not to do. But I think some of it falls on the engineers who, that's kind of the point of my video today. So engineers, every place I've worked where I've had to deal with engineers, whether it was working as a welder service tech and having to deal with engineers from Miller or Lincoln, or whether it was building engineers make a lot of money. They go to school, and they're smart. However, there is a difference between being book smart and what works on paper and real life applications. And I've ran into that anywhere I've worked in the trades or any kind of situation where you have to deal with engineers. Like, they think they know everything, but they don't know what's really going to happen with the application. Like, most of the stuff they do is either on computer programming or formulas that they come up with, and on paper everything always sounds good, but in practice, the people that are installing stuff, it's a constant battle trying to make what the engineers think is possible work in a real life situation. So whether it be something simple as installing pipe. They don't understand how much space the hangers that the pipe has to sit on take up. So sometimes they'll put in the engineering in the blueprints that they want the pipe to run right here, but then when you get in there and actually look at it, like with the hanger and how much space that takes up, it's not actually going to work. So it's the same thing like that with when I worked as a service tech for welder repair. The Miller and Lincoln guys are super smart, but they do some really dumb things. Like if you know you have a component in a welder that's going to be something that's going to fail, you would think you'd want to put that in a place that's easily accessible. A lot of times they won't. They'll bury something inside the machine so that it ends up costing more money and labor, man hours to take it apart, disassemble that, and get at the component that's a known problem than if they would have put it somewhere easily accessible. So it ends up costing the customer more money to fix something because the engineers thought, oh, this is a good place to put this. So my advice, if anybody out there is thinking about going to be an engineer, I'm not hating on being an engineer as a career. Like, they make good money. It's probably a good job. I don't know. You probably sit in the office a lot and doodle on pieces of paper. I don't know what they do, but they make money anyway. So, I mean, if anybody's thinking about being an engineer, I would highly suggest whatever field of engineering you're trying to get into, I would suggest you go work in the field first. Because not only is that going to help the people who have to install the stuff that you're engineering, but I feel like it would probably help you as well just to be a better engineer and to understand the things that you're drawing, how they actually work. I'm too old now to go to school for it. I thought about trying to go to school for engineering, but it takes a while, and I'm not sure that by the time I got through with it, I don't know if it'd be worth it for me at that point. But it's definitely something that I've ran into a lot. Like, I've never heard, everybody's always cussing out the engineers, and the engineers are like, they're the ones responsible for whatever components we're doing. Like, they're always the say so. Like, anything we do, we have to get it clear with the engineers and see if they agree. However, a lot of times, a lot of the issues we run into are due to the engineers making mistakes or not understanding something, how things are actually going to work in the real world. Like, everything looks good on paper. You can write up a story that looks real good on paper, but then it's not really going to be factual when you go to try to implement that story. So that's just a little something I was thinking about, man. Sometimes the blue collar workers, like, we might not have that big college degree behind us, but just from real life experiences, you're gonna end up knowing some things that the people with the high paid engineering careers, they ain't think of because they haven't actually seen it. So it's kind of more of a experience versus book smart type of thing. Me, I'm always gonna go with experience. Like, I feel like there's people who have seen things that haven't been written down that can teach you a lot more than people that wrote some books. On that note, last night I went and took my oil code test for my oil license. I don't know, I didn't really feel that confident. I felt like the class, like when we took our gas code class, I felt like it was pretty precise on like what we're gonna need to know for the test. The gas code or the oil code, I feel like was a little bit all over the place. So I didn't feel as confident. So it's hard for me to study. Like, I get distracted real easy, and then I've just been working a lot, so I really haven't had a lot of time to study. So I went and I was about, I don't know, maybe an hour early for the test, and I just kind of read over all of our quizzes and notes and everything that we had took. Tried to just cram as much of that in as I could, and I feel pretty confident in tests. There's a couple of the drawings that I knew I was going to have trouble with. Like, there's just a lot of components in there. I wasn't going to be able to remember all of them. So I feel like I did pretty good. I know that one of the last drawings, I pretty much flopped on it. But, I mean, I got something in there. So, I mean, I'll get some points for it. But it's just, there's just too much stuff you got. I'm not great with test taking. Like, obviously, that's why I didn't go to college. But that, and besides the fact that I was in prison most times. So I'm not a school guy anyway. I'm a hands-on type of guy. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I feel like it actually went better than I thought it was gonna. So still haven't heard back from the from the gas license test. I think we go back to school on Wednesday for welding, so hopefully by then they have the results in for the gas code, and then we'll see about this oil code test. It feels all right. I got one more licensing test this year. That'll be later on. Well, I guess it'll be next year. It'll be after the new year. That's the low pressure steam test. I think that's a little bit longer of a class, so we'll see how that goes, man. I got welding for a couple weeks, and then we got a couple weeks off for Christmas and New Year. So yeah, that's all it is, man. So anyway, anybody out there, any of my blue collar workers out there, like, don't get discouraged that you got these high college degree people trying to act like they know everything, what everything is, because a lot of times you're gonna run into a situation where the people that's supposed to be the smartest ones in the room, they ain't seeing nothing, and they really don't know how things operate, and it causes big issues. Like, this is probably gonna be, I don't know, it's gonna be expensive to just fix that. We're gonna have to do it at the casino right now, and it ain't on us. It's not our work. It's the engineers and the maintenance people that they hired at the casino that made the mistake. So we're just here to fix their mistakes. Anyway, everybody have a good day. I'm gonna be out on the roof all day messing with these coils.